I learned about the church from some missionaries who showed up at a place I was staying at, and they were actually there to visit someone else, but that person had moved out. And I mean, this was during the middle of the COVID lockdown, so I was kind of isolated and kind of struggling with some personal problems. And I thought they were very impressive people, and I told them that I thought that they were doing doing really good work, kind of giving a lot of themselves to go help strangers. And so they kind of explained a little bit about their faith, and they gave me the Book of Mormon. And I think I glanced at it like once or twice, but I had a really hard time getting into it and reading it. I did not even believe in God at the time anyway, so, but I kept, I opened up to them about my problems, and like we met a few more times about I was struggling with the drinking problem at the time, and just other afflictions such as sleep problems. And I kept putting off coming to church, and because of COVID, it was easy for me to kind of use that as an excuse to not go. And I think a year later or so, I was contacted by Elder Hodges and Elder Mahe while I think it was a Saturday night, and I was doing really bad. I mean, I was in a grip of just kind of abusing alcohol, and just feeling really hopeless and like I was never going to get out of this cycle. Just complete misery and apathy. And the first time they called, I wasn't picking up calls from anyone at the time. I was just kind of deep in my own pit. So I kind of let it go to voicemail, and I think about 30 seconds later, they called again, and I knew like something about that. I could feel like, even though like I was super like disconnected from my heart at that time, like I could feel that some sort of a force telling me to, pick up this call. You need to talk to. It said elder. It was another elder on the voicemail. It wasn't even like I didn't even know you guys' names, but and that was kind of God reaching His hand out to me, I believe, kind of at my deepest, darkest points. That I certainly wasn't going to get out by myself. You could have given me $1 billion and just make me president of the United States, and like I would still be just utterly miserable, like just my state of mind at that point. And Elder Hodges and Elder Mahe were just really, I could sense the love, like, and just the faith and the they weren't like the missionaries that contacted me in the past, because they did not take no for an answer, basically. Just very kind of on a mission, like, because they knew that they could sense what sort of situation I was in, and they knew they could help. I think they had faith that they could heal me. So I met with them for about 2 to 3 weeks afterwards, and they kept inviting me to church and telling, you know, kind of helping me talk through like my urge, my cravings for alcohol. And, you know, we had about 3 weeks of fits and starts of me kind of you know, wanting to come to Christ, but just the devil was just on me, and they explained that to me, that the devil's just working on you really hard because he knows that you're very close to kind of breaking out of that bondage and coming to Christ. So that helped me kind of conceptualizing it as the devil's work. It helped me kind of depersonalize some of the thoughts that I was having. Like I just felt so worthless, and just like, why do I keep kind of beating myself up? And I finally got myself to church, and the first time I went to church, I just remember feeling that this warmth and acceptance and love from the people in church, and just the spirit that was present in that church. And I mean, that night I just kind of, that was the first time I really prayed sincerely and just open, you know, just pour my heart out to God, and just really ask for help and love from God. And I think it was only because I felt that love in church that I would even know what to ask for, or what feeling to ask for, because it's kind of hard to, it would be hard to kind of know what feeling to kind of search for if you haven't felt it already. So I think going to church it's very critical for having a deep and sincere and successful prayer, because, you know, it's just kind of just words if it's not accompanied by a sensation, and that sensation you can get in church. So ever since then, like, the urge for alcohol it weakened a lot. I would say it's almost disappeared, but, you know, it comes around from time to time. But I think that I guess, I mean, God took alcohol away from me, which I sort of enjoyed for so long and relied on, but he replaced it with something else. So, like, I don't feel empty anymore, and kind of seeking it out. So it's, I feel so blessed, and I know it was really just luck of having, you know, Elder Hodges and Elder Mahe just kind of calling people on Saturday night. Well, I wouldn't say luck. I do think God kind of put them in my path to that was his way of reaching out his hand to me. And I mean, every time I go to church, I just come away with this is kind of like this well. I guess they call it the Holy Ghost, but it's sort of like, even if there's a storm outside, I mean, in your mind or just in your life, like there's this really still sort of body of water, like a lake or a well, that just with no ripples or no waves at all. And it just gives me a feeling of of protection against sort of like when I have negative thoughts enter my mind. I just always know that there's something kind of underneath all of that that's very still and very at peace. So, and that's that was my experience of the Holy Ghost so far. Just that it's kind of like this still. It's like a lake or a well that's just deep inside of you. And yeah, I mean, you guys asked about baptism, and it was exactly like everyone said, that it was just it's an experience you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I just remember this overwhelming feeling of love, like that kind of like soap. It just sort of flowed through me while Brother Kelly was speaking, and that was before I was dunked in the water. And yeah, I looked at that picture of Jesus being baptized before I went in. I mean, the one word that came to mind was just love, because that's what he preached. If I had to summarize his teachings in any way, it would be love instead of fear. So yeah, I really hope that anyone who's struggling with the sort of afflictions that I was struggling with, the best thing you can do, the best single thing you can do is just walk into church. Even if you don't have any, even if you look really haggard and just really just not in good shape, I think that is probably the best thing for anyone to do, is just go into church once, and the rest will take care of itself. Because you need to feel that love in order to know how to read the Book of Mormon or how to pray. Because if you haven't felt that yet, you're just going to be kind of passively reading it, and it's just going to go to the brain and not the heart. So that would be kind of for anyone who's going through those feelings of loneliness and despair. I would just walk into church, like the nearest Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm pretty sure that the people in there will take care of anybody who truly seeks their help. So that's my testimony, my experiences. I hope that it helps someone find the sort of love and peace that I'm feeling right now, and just all the blessings that come with being a loving person instead of a fearful or self-interested person.